Play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
This is former Arkansas Razorback J.J. Meadows, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Are you ready to roll this hay season? WT Equipment in Springdale is, and they're offering 0% for 60 months or cash back on select New Holland tractors, telehandlers, and hay equipment during the Ready to Roll sales event going on right now. Being ready for tomorrow starts today. Get ready to roll with WT Equipment in Springdale and take advantage of the best deals of the year. Hurry, the offer ends June 30th. For commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required.
Tommy Smith for Bet Saracen.
Hey, if you're like me and enjoy putting a little something on your favorite sporting event, then get Bet Saracen. Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Download the app or go to betsaracen.com. Oh, and by the way, I finally upgraded my 20-year-old flip phone so I can actually play too.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The hottest swim jig on the Arkansas River right now is the Booyah Mobster. It was designed by the Muddy Water Mob, a bunch of river rats from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it's winning tournaments on Dardanelle and Kerr like clockwork. If you're fishing submerged vegetation, water willow, lily pads, you need a Booyah Mobster to reel them in. Available at lurenet.com and tackle stores throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma, the Booyah Mobster.
This is The Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Razorbacks!
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
The Golf Nut has everything you need to make 2023 the best year ever. In stock now, Ping G430 woods and irons, along with tailor-made Stealth 2 woods. Schedule a fitting today. The new Titleist Pro V1s are here. Golf lessons are available. Call the shop and book a time, or just play a round of golf on one of the many courses like Pebble Beach or Bethpage Black. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Family first. My dad used to tell us that all the time. But family first wasn't just something he'd say to us. It was how he lived every day of his life. And it's how I try to live mine too.
At Shelter Insurance, our agents are dedicated to helping provide personalized auto, home, and life protection that puts your family first.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
Are you needing new tires? Are you short on cash? Van Alma Tire can help you get back on the road. Come by Van Alma Tire and apply for caffeine. It only takes minutes to get approved, and you can get the tire or the service you need to get your vehicle back on the road. Top-of-the-line tires, brake service, and more. Van Alma Tire is here to help you. Located on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Must be 18 or older. Valid ID. Active checking account and income at least $1,000 per month.
Yeager's Ace Hardware is celebrating its 64th anniversary with a chance to win a $500 gift card. Register to win a $500 Yeager's gift card to be given away June 30th at each Yeager's location. No purchase necessary, must be 18 or older to enter. While you're there, enjoy this red-hot buy. DeWalt 20-volt max bare tool angle grinder or reciprocating saw, only $119 with your Ace Rewards card. Find more everyday low prices online at YeagersHardware.com. Yeager's Ace Hardware, offering real help with real savings.
Ty Richardson for Eastside Liquor, your #1 stop for the Hogs Run to Omaha. Every watch party, every event, they can take care of you at Eastside Liquor. Need your favorite beer or seltzer for the Hog Pen? They've got it all at Eastside Liquor. Stop by and see Dave and his team at 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Did I mention it's lake season 2? Regardless of the lake that you spend your summer, the only place you gotta stop before is Eastside Liquor.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing, the SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
You've got 6 SEC teams remaining in the NCAA baseball tournament. Tennessee's going to Southern Miss, even though, Tommy, we were talking about this earlier, Tennessee had a tougher strength of schedule and RPI. Still going to Hattiesburg because until Chuck informed me, apparently they've got a coach that's retiring.
Should that be the reason why? I mean, I understand sentiment and story and, trying to grow the game, all these things, but, I'm not a big defender of Tennessee baseball, but it seems like they got the shaft on this deal.
Yeah. Think about if, Mike Martin was retired in 2019 when Arkansas lost to them, unfortunately, in the College World Series, and if they were a 2 seed, another team with this 2 seed, but the other team had a better strength of schedule, would you feel that way?
I wonder, and I don't know the answer. I'm asking something I don't know the answer to. Does Southern Miss have a larger capacity? Could they sell more tickets?
I think so.
Because we know Lindsey Nelson is, 3,300 seats or something?
They have a pretty good facility there. I know last year when they hosted Ole Miss, it was pretty crazy. The crowd was into it. So
Hattiesburg, you guys ever been to Hattiesburg,
I've been through. You drive right through there on the way to going to the beach. You go right through Hattiesburg.
Oh, do you?
So, yeah.
We actually might have stopped. Is there a casino close to there?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
I know there's casinos.
That's not near the river or the water at that point, but it might be. I don't know. Okay. But I just wonder also, we've been talking about money a lot this morning. Sometimes money comes into these decisions as well. But maybe when they fix the flawed RPI and you feel good about the numbers it has reflecting the product on the field, maybe you can just have a rule, all right? That if we end up in a situation like this with neither team being a seed, you just go with the higher RPI team.
Did they ever say why they picked Southern Miss to host?
I didn't know the reason behind it until Chuck said it this morning. Phil says that Southern Miss has a nicer ballpark.
Well, that's going to motivate Tennessee to do some changes, I would think.
It's like what Tommy was saying earlier. A good bet that ends up happening.
I mean, never lose sight of the money on the trail. I mean, when you're making these decisions and you're looking at it, I mean, what would you do? I mean, this place can sell 6,000 seats or whatever it is at Hattiesburg. This one can sell 3,300. Doesn't take long to figure that out. I just think it should be less arbitrary because in the end, 3,000 more seats isn't going to make a big difference to the final tally for the NCAA. The RPI has got issues now, and it's flawed, but at the same time, it shouldn't be as arbitrary. It shouldn't be as subjective. It should just be, all right, here's the number and here's why, and maybe they'll get to that.
I'm looking at the future right now for College World Series on the Bet Saracen. I want to see where Tennessee's at. I'm going to figure that out at some point.
Think all they've done is provided a ton of motivation for Tennessee to go in there and just wear out Southern Miss. We'll see if that happens, but they have sharpened their focus.
No, I think we'll
see if that matters.
I think there's some good truth to that. All right, keeping it going with the SEC teams. South Carolina's playing Florida in Gainesville. Kentucky's playing LSU in Baton Rouge, and then Bama is at Wake Forest. You got the most teams in the Super Regional. Second closest is the ACC with 3 teams. So you're just as dominant as maybe there was 1 or 2 teams you expected to advance and beat this stage, but here's where you're at right now. The regional coverage, Tommy, was up, apparently on the ESPN platforms, up 37% from last year, so you did have some good games. Highest rated game was the Tennessee and Clemson game that we saw over the past weekend. Innings.
Yeah, I mean, and it was. This is harder in some ways to measure, but easier in others because so much of the viewing was probably done on on ESPN Plus or something. You can push a button and know exactly how many you've got. I always contend that sports is more viewed, more watched, more consumed than the ratings, which has a flawed way of measuring with handwritten diaries still in a lot of non-metered markets and the way they go about it. As we move more to streaming and digital, and we're seeing this with a product like postseason baseball, you can push a button and know exactly how many people connected to your stream. And I think we're going to find out, as we have with the NFL and Amazon and all these other things, more people are consuming and watching sports than we first or originally thought from our previous data.
Yeah. Last thing here in your SEC update, and this is a big news tidbit, and it comes via Tim Watts, who runs the Bama on 3 website, and Jeff Goodman as well. Apparently, Grant Nelson, who was originally scheduled to visit Baylor in Waco this week, evidently told Baylor Brad, yeah, I'm not going. My dad sent me a message yesterday. Apparently, he's not going on his official visit to see Scott Drew and company. According to Jeff Goodman, it's looking like a 2-horse race right now between Alabama and Arkansas for the status and potential of Grant Nelson, the North Dakota State transfer. So this is a big week. We've talked a lot about Razorback baseball. We've talked plenty about Razorback football this morning with the schedule release next week. But evidently, this is a big week where they could get their final piece for the basketball team this week.
Does this fit the puzzle?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tommy, it's one thing to have to defend Trevin Brazil, who is a unicorn himself, but if you have Grant Nelson and Trevin on the same team playing the 4 and 5, it's a matchup nightmare. It's the best front court in the SEC, maybe all in college basketball, if they fit. Now, there's got to be a fit. You've got to be able, and Muss is a master of this, he brings guys in, whether they're averaging 20 and 10 or they're averaging 7 and 5, he figures out the pieces by the end of the season. And if Grant comes in, ultimately decides to come in and sign in Fayetteville, and him and Trevor on that front court, you got Mackay there as well and various things, that's a fun lineup, and that's a top 10 preseason team and potential to end up in Phoenix, Arizona for the Final Four.
If you're Nelson, who would you rather play for, Eric Musselman or Nate Oates?
Well, listen, everyone's going to initially jump to the Muss bus, and 99% of our audience, I don't know what one Alabama fan we have listening to the program. The postseason success has been there for Muss. He has the 2 Elite Eights. Oates' best season has been a Sweet 16 this past year, and they willfully underperformed. So I don't know if that enters the conversation between Muss, the staff, and Nelson that they're probably going to have this week in Fayetteville. But it's like Coleman Coliseum's a dump. It's a dump, and I know they've got they're planning on either the I can't remember if it's renovations, Tommy, or Tuscaloosa, or if it's that, but it's not even a comparison. And the basketball history between the two schools, I know that you've got Wimp Sanderson for Bama, but
doesn't matter in this conversation. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so what would be
that's not why he's going to either school.
Correct. So
he didn't care about the facility that you play in.
Is Brandon Miller not what went down outside of the court? But the fact that he's probably going to be the second or third best pick in the draft, is he the biggest draw to convincing Nelson? It's like, well, we just brought Brandon in, who is a great high-caliber recruit. Look where he's going to the draft. Is that a pitch that you think Oates is using?
Okay, give me the rest of the guys on that list. Give me the other guys we've developed for the NBA out of this program. That's where I think Muss has the edge.
And I was hoping you'd go there.
Because I don't say it's not nothing to have one player like Miller.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not nothing, but I think the track record and the NBA experience of Muss and his staff trump anything Oates can offer up. And I just think there's too much heat still around Oates, too many distractions around that program. I mean, who's to say some new information or a text message or an email or something couldn't just fall out of the woodwork at some point and poof, Oates is gone, a month before the season. I'm not saying, but with everything that's happened over the last 9 months around that program, you can't say that something squirrely or crazy isn't possible there. It's a lot more stable in Fayetteville than it is in Tuscaloosa.
And while Miller's going to be drafted higher, most likely than any other Razorback, the prospect of having 4 guys drafted, and Nick Smith, Anthony Black, Ricky Council, and Jordan Walsh, I mean, you haven't had that since 92. I think that's appealing as well.
And whose relationships and whose Rolodex runs deeper in pro basketball? I mean, it's
not
even really close from my chair.
Yep.
All right, that's your SEC update. It's brought to you by the Hickey and Hull Law Partners. They're growing their firm by adding offices in Mena and in Central Arkansas. For many years, they've helped clients in both of those areas. Now they're going to make it more convenient and easier than ever on everybody involved by having a permanent office in Central Arkansas and in Mena. So if you're listening this morning on 96.3 in Mena, you're listening online somewhere in Central Arkansas, you can call the Hickey and Hull Law Partners and schedule your appointment to sit down with one of their experienced lawyers today. Whether it's family law, criminal law, you've got a corporate issue going on, a business issue going on, they can help you. 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. Online at kevinhickeylaww.com. The Hickey and Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Let's welcome in Jeremy, who's in Tulsa this morning. Jeremy, you had some thoughts and a question about baseball. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, guys. It's great to be on here with you guys. I think you guys do awesome work, and I really enjoy listening to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, first things first, I just want to tip my cap to the Hogs this baseball season. I mean, despite all the injuries and the lack of depth, when it came to pitching, towards the end of the year, be able to win an SEC championship in probably the toughest conference in the nation there's nothing to sneeze about. So I just want to tip my cap to them and Dave Van Horn and the players for always fighting. My question to you guys is kind of about what the roster is going to look like next year. I know Bolton and Wagner and Slavens are going to be gone because they're out of eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
But what about some of the juniors? I'm talking about the Caleb Callies, the Tavian Josenbergers, the Hunter Hollands, the Borfins, those guys that could go pro. And I know Jace Borfin is projected to go pretty high, I think, on the first day. But what about some of those other guys? Do you guys think that they'll be back next year, or do you guys think that they'll go drafted? Or how do you think the roster is going to shake up with the number one recruiting class and trying to bring in the transfers and keep people that's already on the roster and things like that? So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Great call. You also have to present the idea of the guys that are draft eligible. And again, I don't know every single player's age and when they turn 21 prior to the MLB draft or whatever. But the three guys you just mentioned, no eligibility for Wagner, Bolton, and Slavens. And then Borfin being the highest rated guy he's probably gone. They've got a good chunk of juniors that you've mentioned. And again, you got to remember when it comes to this, while they may not be the most highly regarded player, they lose all of their not eligibility. Leverage advantage when they stay another year, because at that point they have nowhere else to go.
You have no other option.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. All right, last call of the morning goes to Hong Kong Sui. Got a chance to meet Hong Kong Sui this weekend at the Stadium Shop. Welcome in, my man.
Hey, what's going on, Ty? What's going on, Tommy?
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Tommy, I missed you at the Stadium Shop. I was going to talk a little rep trash, but you weren't there. You were out fishing instead.
I hated to miss that. So,
hey, I wanted to call the Grant Nelson conversation, but I wanted to jump in on real quick. I think that we've got obviously a really good chance because we have Musselman. But what Alabama offers that maybe is not that we can't quite match is they don't have a single front court player signed for this upcoming year. It's all guards, and a couple of, I guess, young scrub type front court players. So it's going to be, does Nelson want tons of playing time and the offense kind of focused on him, or does he want to be part of a championship potential team?
That's a great point, and Hong Kong Sui, we really appreciate the call. So not only do they lose Brandon Miller, they lose Charles Bediaka, who's staying in the NBA draft, and then I can't think of the 6'10" guy that they had on their team, Clowney. They lost Clowney, too. He's staying in the NBA draft as well. So like you said, they lost all their front court. That's an idea that at least I think Nate Oates would be able to pitch against Arkansas.
Do one-and-done players really care about winning a championship?
That's a good question.
I think everybody's probably wired different. You can't just generalize there, but I often wonder, do they really care about Final Fours and championships there?
Well, Grant's he's an elder statesman, so maybe the category is different.
It may be.
I don't know. That's a good question. We'll maybe touch on it tomorrow.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential